Welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
Hey guys, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, this is a podcast all about tabletop RPGs, running them, playing them. Calvin and I takes a casual approach to jamming and playing this hobby, so, we just like to talk about our games and the games that we've experienced, and, show you guys that it's not so hard to jump in the hobby or even jump behind the DM screen if you are so inclined.
Exactly. You want to make the other side of the screen a bit less mysterious, a bit less obscure, a bit less foggy for other people who might want to try it. Because, frankly, everyone I've ever met could probably be a good GM.
Yeah, actually, I just think that people just gotta try it out and they'll love it because it's like one of the most unique things I've ever done in my life. And I think a lot of other GMs would agree that nothing just hits the spot like being a GM and running a game. But yeah,
You're right.
There you go, folks. Yeah, that's the gist of the show. Let's get on with it, right?
So this week we're going to do something we did a few times in the Lancer system. We're going to make like a little campaign adventure sort of thing. There's a little campaign generator we're going to use. I'll have it linked below so you can check it out on your own if you want. And we'll make something for Pathfinder 2E or just fantasy in general. If we think of some specific Pathfinder stuff we want to throw in, we can do that. But
yeah, Dot Fantasyland specifically. Yeah.
It's just going to be, general fantasy like the most popular RPG game is, and then we'll see what we end up with. These kind of episodes are fun, so it'll be fun to chat through this sort of thing, and of course, if you have any ideas, you can just drop them below. But before we get into all that, we have to get to the most important part of the show, the Win with Dice Weekly GM Tip of the Week.
Yes, the Win with Dice Weekly GM Tip of the Week, brought to you by Calvin.
All right, so this is something that I was just doing recently. This is more of a player-facing thing, although GMs can use it as well. When it comes to trying to figure out your character or what they might look like, this is probably pretty obvious, but I found it pretty helpful to invest time in looking up reference images. Whether it's for like the type of character you want to make or for the type of clothes that you might want to put them in. I was trying to think of a character for something that's happening over on the USP channel that I don't think is announced yet, will probably have happened by the time this episode comes out. So it probably was announced, but I was just trying to come up with like a early 20th century sidekick superhero sort of thing. And I didn't really have many ideas on like their appearance. Until I started looking at the, and we used this site before, if you check out the episode that we had with Alex on, the public domain superhero wiki, which has like a lot of older Golden Age characters just because of how copyright law worked at the time and the fact that a lot of those companies just went under because they were kind of fly by night, let's make a superhero and cash in on this trend sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, I just looking at characters there, looking through the sidekick section, gave me a whole lot of ideas. They like to use a lot of blue and red back then. A lot of those characters blended into each other.
What, 1930s? Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of patriotism, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But yeah, no, that site's awesome, and everyone's ideas back then about villains are ridiculous. That episode with Alex was actually one of the most fun when we kind of went through and dissected, made a little adventure, I guess, of like what these villains came up, and there were like all sorts of craziness. Like one dude was a thug that like had his brain put into a gorilla, so he was Gorilla Thug Man.
Gorilla with a human brain.
Yeah, gorilla with a human brain.
Was the name of the character?
Like that was a bad guy, but still, like that's also really funny, but also kind of cool. And but my favorite, I think by far is it Mr. Crimes?
Yeah, it's Mr. Crime.
Mr. Crimes. He's a ghost that causes people to just commit crimes. Which is the craziest power, and I think transcends genres. Like I could see like every genre having a Mr. Crimes. So yeah, definitely.
I think if you're into like superhero stuff, if you want some character ideas, just go hop around the public domain superhero wiki for a bit, because you'll see some really good stuff in there. Like Mr. Crime. Or what was the one that we all liked? Dr. Dracula or something?
Yeah, Dr. Dracula, yeah. He had a ray gun. he just had like a laser gun,
Yeah.
and like that was his whole thing. But not that he's a vampire. Like that wasn't his superpower. He just so happened to be a vampire. But he's the reason why he's evil is because he has a ray gun. Like that's how he deals with foes.
An evil ray gun.
An evil ray gun. Beautiful. I think that I can definitely make Dr. Dracula work in Lancer, like as a character. Like it makes so much sense. Just like a silly, sexy vampire with like they'll shoot you with a laser gun.
Oh, what about Mr.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. That's just Dio. I'm pretty sure that's just Dio Brando. I'm pretty sure that's
Everything goes back to JoJo.
Yeah.
What about Mr. Crime, but as like a computer virus that turns your mech evil?
That's true. It's true. And like that's what the players have to face. It's like, well, that's like every AI. It's like Mr. Crimes. So like, every rogue NHP just becomes Mr. Crimes. But then it's like, you fool, I am beyond you. And then you're like, eat my bullets. And then, Mr. Crimes gets defeated. Oh yeah, good. Yeah, honestly, go look at that. Have a look at below, cause that shit's funny as hell. Like you'll get inspired. I kind of want to have Gorilla with a human brain, like in like this little adventure we're gonna do. But we'll see if we can shoehorn him in. Maybe he's a side character. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. That site keeps on giving. All right, there you go, folks. That's your tip of the week. Go look up some stuff and get inspired, whether it be like clothes or attitude or like cool ideas from older stuff or even just reference images. That's the takeaway here.
Yeah, exactly. I'll link to Mr. Crime below.
Oh my God. This madman. He has a top hat too and a curly mustache. I think if I remember, like this dude looks like a bad guy, like for real, like just a ghost with crimes on his head. Like,
yeah, his top hat just has crime written on it.
Swagged out, man. Like honestly, like if I had a hat with just crimes on it, yeah, I'll be Mr. Crimes for sure. Fucking dripped out, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Killing me here.
Oh, world's most dangerous villain. Okay. We should probably do the actual episode. Oh my goodness, we have to do another one of those again, though. The random adventure with the public domain characters.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really awesome. We should like smash together like public domain stuff more often because they could probably make the silliest stuff.
I bet there's some good like fantasy stuff in there too. I haven't really looked at it. Oh, there's probably like different public domain character wikis for that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, and also like all the cool fairy tales and other stuff that's just like in the public domain that we can just take from mythology or whatever or that kind of stuff. Like the weird spooky European stuff. It's like this stuff get weird really fast. Or like you know what I mean. So yeah, I think that's the topic. If you guys think that's a cool idea, let us know.
Yeah, secret second topic.
Secret second topic. Okay, all right, on to the episode.
Okay, so there is a site that I like to use called Danzon. This was one of the earliest sites I ever used in my GMing career for just generating things and giving me ideas. And one of the things on there that I didn't use too extensively, I kind of wish I did, is a random adventure generator. And this is based on the Dungeon Master's Design Kit by TSR Inc., published in like 1988, according to Wikipedia.
1988, damn man, TSR still putting out, still giving the game a good old help. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I love old shit.
It's one of those books with a big wizard on the cover. You know how it goes. So the plan right now is to use this web page and basically just randomly generate an adventure. It gives you like themes and goals and settings and villains and allies and traps and weaknesses and all sorts of things. So like how we did with the Lancer tables from the books, we're going to take some ideas, put them together in a pot, and see what we come up with. And again, if something here sparks your imagination or you want to try the generator yourself, just write a comment below about any ideas you might have. I don't know where this is going to go, so let's just start going.
Yeah. One thing about the generator, if you do use it, you can actually click on, there's like a bunch of different sections. You can actually click on the sections to regenerate a new I guess, entry. So if you like everything and you're just like, oh, this thing doesn't work for me, you can just kind of keep clicking to get more of an idea.
Exactly.
So that's just it.
Yeah, you can refresh the You can refresh the page, or click an individual section to end up with whatever you want to end up with. But let's start off with a theme for our adventure, and I'll be taking some notes here that our home audience can't see. But the theme I have right now is action adventure, which is pretty basic and straightforward, I would think.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds a lot easier. I got espionage on my page, so let's just go with that one. That sounds good.
Fair enough. So, action adventure. So, like most, typical RPG adventures, it's just very straightforward. There's a task and there's obstacles, and you have to find your way through them using whatever means are necessary. But what is the goal of this adventure? So right now I have win war. In this adventure, the characters become part of an army, assaulting another kingdom or defending one realm from another. What do you have on yours?
I got like protect an endangered NPC brackets. So so one of our NPCs are in danger, the characters must protect them, that kind of stuff. Looks like NPCs might be a wealthy or powerful person, sought by assassins or kidnappers, or it might be a whole village. One sounds way easier than the other.
Protecting a single NPC does sound a bit easier than winning a whole war.
Yeah, I was like, yo, action adventure? I mean, maybe. I mean, it could be a cool action adventure. I've been playing a lot of Tactics Ogre lately, and that whole game is just like dudes committing war crimes in like 8-bit. Like, so
could we combine the two, maybe? I mean, now I'm already like varying off, but maybe we have to protect someone in the midst of a war.
Sure, all right, let's do that. That sounds cool. Sounds like we have to beat up some baddies who are possibly, more neutral than bad guy, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, that could be something the players discover over time, like who's in the right or what side they should be on.
Yeah, and like the mountain of corpses that they leave behind, because all good parties should do.
As all parties, exactly.
Are we the bad guys? Like
to someone else.
To someone else, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Definitely cool. All right, let's work with both. Maybe we can put both in.
Okay.
I mean, maybe there's also espionage because trying to keep a person alive might be something important. Maybe they're like a part of like the commanding force, or like the I guess I would say, since it's Fantasyland, like the aristocracy, or like the the nobility of the land, and we're like they're not we, but the players are like their guard or something like that.
So
right, let's see what the story hook. Let's see what we got here.
Okay, yeah, let's work on the story hook, but yeah. I'm just kind of combining the two of them right now. Some action adventure with some light espionage as we're protecting an NPC during a war.
During a war, yeah, that sounds like a good movie. I'm pretty sure that's already a movie. Is it called White House Down? Is that what it is? I think that's what it's called. Is it White House Down? There's one where like you're trying to protect the president. So
that sounds right. I think that's the one with Gerard Butler, and then there's another one with the plane.
Is it the snakes one? That's not that one.
No, that's that's a different thing on a plane. Is it Die Hard 2? All right.
Is it Die Hard 2? Wait, is it Christmas or not? That's what I need to know.
Okay, let's get this story hook, because we are way off track already. So the story hook that I have here is better late than never. Some bad guys have arrived and done some bad guy things. The PCs were none the wiser. The bad guys have now made good their escape, and the PCs have caught wind of it in time to chase them down before they make it back to their lair, their home, or behind enemy lines, or some other enemy location. It basically seems like the instigating thing is the bad guys do something and manage to escape before the PCs can stop them, pretty much.
Oh, but then they're like chasing them down, right? I guess that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I mean, so I got dying delivery. On some occasion, when the hero is out wandering the streets, or streetwise all alone, or otherwise all alone in the streets, a dying man bumps into them, hands them something, and says a few words, and then dies.
Oh, what if we combine the two? Because we're protecting an NPC, right? What if the bad guys managed to kidnap that NPC and the players didn't notice, but one last guard or something, someone else who was part of the guard squad, came and was able to give the PCs a warning in time for them to like either see the kidnappers, and then maybe they're able to start a chase at that point. Like the PCs, they would start off, I don't know, just with a normal guard duty day, but then they're all separated for some reason, and then they all get this message, and they're all brought back together in time to, and like being players, they'll want to give chase, and that's going to be a whole other thing. But they should at least be able to notice, hey, this person's gone, and here's some evidence or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that could be like the call to action. It's like, go get this person back. And maybe since we're playing a war scenario, it could be just like, assassins or kidnappers from the opposing force where the players are part of like one kingdom, and it'd be like the other kingdom or the other force or whatever has captured somebody important, and they've been tasked to track them down and retrieve that individual.
Yes, perfect. Okay, we're coming together here. So the next section is plot. So I have accumulation of elements. A story where the heroes go from place to place, either covering like a city or roaming the entire world, and accumulate elements to be used against the main villain, like clues or pieces of an artifact or evidence or allies. So I guess going around and collecting things you need to beat the master villain.
I see.
Well,
so I got ABC Quest, where this is an epic sort of plot in that the heroes are given or undertaken a task to perform, like taking of a city, the rescue of an innocent, the destruction of a monster, the creation of a magical item. Yeah, I think this one, ABC plot sounds about right.
Yeah, like, that makes more sense for the story hook.
Yeah, save the princess, defeat the dark wizard kind of thing, right? Like.
Yeah, because what we have so far, you're not really collecting things. You're trying to rescue an innocent, like it said.
Yeah. So, there's like the A event, and then they finish that, and there's the B event, and then they finish that, and there's the C event, right? So, I think that would be, that's like a basic, like, A to C, A, B, and C plot, right? It's important person, NPC gets kidnapped, you go find them, they are rescued, and then you find out, so either like the next section, like the B plot would be like them returning home, or the A plot would be them going out, returning home, and then the NPC reveals, some even further plot, right? That the bad guys are like planning, and then so the B plot would be them going to go and like deal with that revelation out of that, and then the C plot would be like, the revelation after that.
Like the confrontation after they manage to interrupt whatever's going on.
Yeah. So technically, if I read this a little bit better, it's basically just like a slingshot. So there's like the A event, and to even complete the A event, you have to do the B event, and to even complete the B event, you have to do the C event, right? So the A event would be like, maybe the whole quest could just be like retrieving this person. So it's like, A event, gotta go rescue the thing. B event, we can't rescue the thing until we find a way into the villain's lair. And then the C event, it's like, okay, we need to do something to get access to the villain's lair. So it's like, get in the villain's lair, find you have to find the villain's lair. Then it's like, then you get into the villain's lair, and then you rescue the person. Like that's like the way and back.
Yeah, the C could be like trying to find an ally or someone who knows the way in, and then the B is the actual getting in, and then the A is the rescue, if I'm understanding.
Yeah. That's basically. It's basic. It's like the like a heist, I guess. Where it's like you gotta plan it out and go in, and something goes wrong, but hey, we prepared for it. That kind of deal.
Perfect. Okay, so that's the main plot of the adventure. NPC we like has been kidnapped, and I think it'll probably give us a NPC or something down below, or like an ally or something that we can maybe use for this. So I don't want to say too much about them just yet. I don't want to make too many assumptions. Probably a princess or something. Although according to everything we've said, princesses are I think we've said multiple times that princesses are the dangerous ones for some reason.
They are. You don't know how powerful princesses are, man.
Fair enough.
That's why dragons keep trying to take them, because they know. They know the secret. Like, the dragons are just trying to protect us from princesses. That's where our feelings are.
Yeah, I just watched all the Sailor Moon. I know how dangerous a princess can be.
Yeah, man, that shit can like blow up the world. She like owns the whole moon. Like, what do you mean, dog?
She was clapping dudes from season 1.
Yo, man, she just pulls up and it was like, you're dead. And they were. She said she's gonna punish you, man, and then those people lost their lives. Judge, jury, and executioner. I'm saying, Sailor Moon, watch out, man. It's dangerous. Yo, it's worse when they squat up, like, you know, like that's when their true power comes out.
Can't face the power of friendship.
Yeah, shit, man. It's hard out here being a villain. All right.
Okay.
What did you have for the climax?
So for climax, this is gonna be a fun episode. For climax, I have a throne room duel.
Already sold.
So it mentions that it's something. It's basically like you have all the heroes together in one area, dealing with all the villains or dealing with the master villain directly in their lair. A classic climax choice, according to this.
I think it's cool. I mean, I love classic. I love the bad guy sitting on his throne monologuing like, "Aha, you fools! You don't know what power I wield." And they're like, well, and they're like standing and then on top of their throne of like gold, and he's like, rah, rah, rah.
We do love a monologue. All right. Well, what do you have on your page?
I mean, so I got divine retribution, which I was like, maybe not. The hero's goal has been to alert the gods that the master villain threatens them or their plans. In the last scenes of the adventure, our heroes are face an overwhelming enemy force. The gods bring down their divine retributions on the villain, causing massive earthquakes, tidal waves, and lightning. So there's some biblical shit. Holy
wow.
Moses out here splitting the ocean, right? Like, fuck. This is all well and good, but the heroes are too close and must escape the fringe effects of this awesome disaster. A variant on this is the natural disaster. No gods actually involved, but the master villain has been tempting with the delicate forces of nature. He may instance of this power. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, it's like he could even like, you know, the emergence of a volcano or like a great tsunami or some shit like that.
Ooh.
I mean, that sounds fantasy as fuck. You know what I mean?
It does
like
sound pretty epic.
Yeah, just like a volcano. But I do love the idea. Okay, so my idea is like, you know, this adventure is really like sword and boardy, I guess I should say. It's like a little less fantastical and a little bit more like dudes are really good at stabbing other dudes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like, I like the idea of the throne room, but also we could just have this dude also be like a megalomaniac planning on summoning a volcano like in the kingdom so it gets utterly destroyed, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, it could be a thing where the villain needs this NPC that the players were protecting, and perhaps the players weren't fully aware of everything this NPC was capable of.
Yeah, you know, classic, like, you know, this person's not a fighter, but it actually is super powerful, kind of like, you know, kind of magical person, but they're not like in control of their powers, or like they don't use their powers because like, again, it will cause like such horrid destruction. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, like, nah, man, I'm just chilling. I mean, that would be cool because that would be if the NPC is the one who's gonna cause this devastating natural disaster, or has some way of executing it. Like that could be a reason why, you know, we're keeping like they're relatively secret, I'm assuming, right? Like nobody needs to know that you know, we have like this walking nuke in our kingdom, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, that's why it's like they needed them to, you know, get like secretly kidnap them because they don't want to kill them because they want to actually use it in the war to turn the tides or something like that. You know, maybe the evil villain is like they want to do the final blow, but they can't because like this walking natural disaster lives in our city. So it's like, but then if they, was able to secure this powerful weapon that in personified, then they would be able to just land the killing blow and finally destroy their, I guess, the good guys. the red army defeats the blue army.
I mean, yeah, we could figure out the relative morality of the villain when we get there. But yeah, I like the idea that they that's what they need this person for. That's why they need to take them alive. They need to put them, I don't know, maybe the NPC needs to be on the throne so they can be the conduit to some sort of massive magical event.
True. I mean, that'd be kind of nuts if the man like made his death weapon where he just sits and takes meetings. Like that's like.
Look, once you got a good chair, you're not gonna want to get up from it. Just put the controls next to the chair.
Yeah, right. That's the problem, right? That's how you get snowed. You know what I mean? You gotta put like the fence up.
You get snowed.
You get snowed stuck.
There's a lightsaber beside me, but this chair is so comfortable. I'm not gonna get up.
I'm not gonna get up, right? It's not like the Force existed. People could just turn that shit on for free. Like, man, sometimes man. people kill me. I got snoked. What an idiot. All right, so we have this like divine retribution, and maybe like during the conflict there could be an option because nothing ever goes as planned. So I like the idea of confronting the evil king or whoever's leading the red army, I'm gonna call them, the bad guy army, to be like, or bad guy kingdom, to be like, yes, confronting him in his villain room. He has the NPC that we need in their clutches, but like, we're trying to like we beat him up, but then he's like a last ditch effort, activates the volcano powers, and then somehow the volcano shows up in his kingdom, and then now he's defeated, but also the place is blowing up, and now we have a cool running scene. That sounds like a cool like double climax.
Yes. And
yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna make a note that the disasters happen in the villain's lair.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. It feels like a cool like double, I guess, like a double resolution or a double climax, because it reminded me of like, there's a movie called Summer Wars, like an anime movie, and it's like they're fighting like a military computer virus, and it's like they live in like a world where like the online space is like kind of VR, but it's the same people who made like the Digimon movie, but like they also had the same thing. It's like the same director too. Those movies are, watch the Digimon movie and watch Summer's War, and you're like, I think this is the same plot. But yeah, they defeated the bad guy AI, right, through cartoon violence in a video game fashion. But also on top of that, the bad guy launched like a cruise missile at them because AI. But then this dude who's like a super math guy had to like crack the code, and they use like this crazy math formula, so you have to figure it out. So there was like this cool fight scene, and afterwards this dude just typing on a keyboard and doing math really fast. And that was like the epic scene. And the missile just managed to just land perfect. Like it was disarmed and like landed, which I don't even know if missiles are even capable of just doing that. But anyway, Summer Wars is killer. Go watch that. Go watch the Digimon movie. That's also pretty cool. There's also cartoon violence against an AI, as well as like a missile being disarmed through the power of math, I think. Anyway. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do Digimon the movie. That's what we're gonna do.
In Pathfinder.
In Pathfinder. Sounds sick.
Okay, so we do have our climax. It's in the throne room, a duel with the villain, as the villain activates their ultimate volcano weapon, but it goes off in their lair.
Damn it, Mr. Crimes.
Yeah, Mr. Crime should be the villain. All right, let's get into setting. So there's general setting, and then there's like smaller specific setting stuff. So general setting, what I have is torturous terrain.
Fuck.
Some sort of unsettled, uncivilized, and dangerous terrain, like a desert or a jungle. Something that's just dangerous and exotic.
So I got exotic distant land. So adventures take the hero to some fantastic exotic distant country, where he'll have or where they'll have to cope with new customs, monsters unfamiliar to them, or very colorful NPC encounters. Choose one of the more fascinating lands from your campaign world.
Oh, since there's some light espionage in here, maybe the game is trying to go through this enemy area, this fantastical, exotic, and dangerous terrain. But you're sort of like you're meeting with new people and things like that, and maybe learning a bit more about the opposite side of this war that you're in the middle of. But the environment itself is very different from the one that you come from, or the players come from.
Yeah, for sure. I like the idea that, maybe the setting, it could, I'm drawing from, my kind of personal world where, like, on one side, there's, like, a huge mountain kind of dividing the main continent where everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
And one side is, like, basically, like, if you, like, it's, like, like, European, like, fantasy world. And the other side is, like, more, like, Greco-Roman kind of like getting more Eastern sort of fantasy, because to draw from the real world, it's real. There's so much to draw from. I just do that, right? So I do like the idea of like two countries at war, but there's like a geographical barrier separating them, right? And maybe it's a mountain, so you have to climb over the mountain, right? And like go maybe on the other side is like there's a jungle, but then also in between that there's like a bunch of desperate, like there's a bunch of other communities, like maybe we're like infiltrating into this exotic distant land because it's literally distant. You gotta go over a mountain to get over to it, right? So there could be very, very different types of people.
That could be the part of the torturous terrain, like these two places split by a mountain, and then on like they get less and less civilized the closer you get to this mountain, I don't know, jungle-ish area. And then once you get on the other side, it's like a completely different place.
Yeah. And like maybe the whole key is actually the NPC can split the mountain. Like that sounds something crazy catastrophic, but also if the mountain was split, like that means that like people can invade, because like having like a terrain advantage of like being kind of surrounded by like, it's a good defensive position to have, right? To have like a mountain towards your back or whatever, because Helm's Deep or whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, we're just like, put this shit by this mountain so no one can go behind us. Like.
So the player's kingdom or land or whatever is maybe on the more advantageous side of that, and then the other side, like, that's why they haven't been able to make any actual inroads, and why everything's kind of a standstill at this point.
Well, it could be like the fact that it's like, one side has a good defensive position, the other side maybe has numbers, right? So that might be a thing where they have numbers. They're just like more well armed or more well supplied, or just like that's kind of like, so that's how you can reach a stalemate that way, where like there's just more, like if there was just a clear path, they would just get steamrolled, right?
Right.
But now there's this like mountain range or some, like it doesn't have to be like a mountain range. It could be like some physical barrier, geographic barrier that could be like, removed by the power of this NPC through climactic volcano means.
I kind of like the mountain though, because that would make sense for why they can create like a volcano, because they can just like ripple the ground beneath them. They're like an extreme earthbender. True. So that's why this NPC, like, the villain wants them so they can like flatten out the mountain and then take away the advantage of position and then overwhelm with numbers.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Okay, so two nations. So what I wrote down for setting is like there's two nations split by a mountain, where one has the advantageous position and the other has the advantage of numbers. But I guess the setting of the campaign would be the opposite side of that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, specific setting. So I have here a shack town of the oppressed, where part of the action centers around like tenements or shacks in the worst part of a town. There might be an ally that lives there, or players might want to hide out in that part of town or something like that.
Okay. Well, I got like demi-human communities. So like in wilderness areas, there will be a large community of demi-humans like elves, dwarves, halflings, or whatever, or intelligent non-humans such as orcs. Or if the action takes place in a city, it could be like a hidden community, such as a secret underground dwarf community, or like a section of the city inhabited mostly by demi-humans. I mean, I do like the idea of the bad guys having numbers because of like, classic like subjugating like orcs or half orcs kind of deal, or even like goblins or hobgoblins or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Some of these like kind of bad humanoid races that are really good at like being soldiers, like really good at putting people in the ground and not so good at negotiating kind of deal. But maybe the people who are in control, like we could have like a narrative of like the reason why they have these such big numbers is because they've somehow struck out a deal, or like maybe not even a deal, but just like enslaved or coerced all of these these orcs or whatever, are these like demi-human like type races to be in their army, right, and be like their frontline soldiers and be able to like just triple their numbers really quickly. But like actually they don't really see any of the wealth, I guess, from the place. Like maybe there's like there's like this little outcropping of them that they're like, or maybe even like a little resistance where it's like there's like a story within a story where it's like, all right, the bad guys have a bunch of orcs, but the orcs actually want to rebel, but they don't know how.
That could be part of like the C plot where they have to find a way into the lair. Like there's this resistance and it's like, we know how to get there, we just don't have enough power to actually do it. Oh hey, here's some adventurers from the other side of the mountain. Yeah,
for sure. Maybe Mr. Crimes, I'm gonna call the bad guy Mr. Crimes. Maybe Mr. Crimes has like a way to like I don't know, like convince them to do violence. I was gonna say commit crimes. Maybe he has like some psychic thing or like brainwashing thing or controlling thing where he's able to like dominate these people into doing whatever they're doing, right? And like that could be like a way to kind of. That's always the problem, because I always have like bad guy races, but like maybe instead of it just being there's no bad guy race, it's just bad people.
Yeah, like because coming from like this other location, the players could have been like, oh, goblins. Well, I mean, like the place where they come from, they would have this notion that goblins and hobgoblins or whatever are totally super evil and all those things. But they actually get there and it's like, no, they're just being controlled or manipulated or oppressed in some way. The real bad guy is society.
The real bad guys. The friends we made along the way. That's the real bad guy. Okay, cool. So we have this demi-human community of oppressed people willing to raise arms against, the evil overlord, who is also threatening this peaceful kingdom on the other side of the mountain by stealing their nuke volcano person.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That's a lot of stuff. So then it's like, that's I like that. We'll figure out the details about like how these people are being like, oppressed in some way, but
I think when we get to the villain, we might be able to figure that out. Because there's some other stuff. There is also, we can make another specific setting. There's specific setting 2, Electric Boogaloo. I have tavern/inn, just a classic tavern/inn.
Okay, cool. I got catacombs. So these could be catacombs beneath a living city or ruined one.
Catacomb tavern.
Catacomb tavern. Or we could just have 2 second specific settings.
I guess.
They don't have to be one.
I just thought it'd be really fun.
Although it would be cool if like, these orc the half orc resistance or whatever is like beneath the city, in the shadows, right? And there's a specific setting where like, the players are like negotiating or planning with this, half orc resistance underneath the city, beneath the bad guys even knows. And maybe that's how, they're able to like get into the heavily fortified, I want to say castle or, throne room or whatever, because
these catacomb tunnels are the way in.
Yeah.
Tunnels lead to the castle, but like once you pop your head out of the trap door, like you're in the bad guy castle surrounded by bad guys.
Yeah, and like the orc resistance or the half orc resistance or orc resistance, they're like they're not cool enough to do it. They need a bunch of heroes to show up to help them out, and then they can like storm the castle and take out the king or something like that. 'Cause, when the Avengers show up or whatever.
Okay, so catacomb/tunnel leading to the castle. All right.
Yeah.
So now we are at the all-important part, the master villain. So I have on my screen the Corruptor, a villain who wants to make something nasty out of something that's currently nice. Maybe working on a small scale or on a large scale trying to corrupt an entire city or nation. This feels like a Mr. Crime sort of thing.
I feel like we'll go with that one. Because I have the Avenger, and I don't think Mr. Crimes woke up bad. You know what I mean? Like he was like he was a baddie at the start. So I think
he just wants problems always.
Yeah, he just wants problems always. So
okay, perfect. I guess that means the villain is Mr. Crime.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's like more sympathetic than purely evil, but like I think Mr. Crimes is like, we should call him like King Crimes, like like Lord Crimes.
What? Lord Crimes.
Lord Crimes.
Okay, that's what it is. Lord Crimes. I don't know. His lieutenant could be an Avenger. I mean, it does have minor villains here.
Yeah, let's go with the minor villains. Maybe we'll use the Avenger for like, some other ones or something like that.
Yeah, if we don't see one we like here. So it gives you a couple options for minor villains. So for minor villain 1, I have a lovable rogue. So minion of the master villain, but very independent, not always working in his employer's best interests. Might occasionally make fun of the master villain. But that classic lovable rogue type. And could potentially also suffer some retaliation from the villain if pushes too far.
I mean, that would be kind of cool. Maybe like the villain, that lovable rogue, is like in it for himself and just happens to be like whoever's in power is like the one that's gonna get his own thing done, right? Like maybe that's the reason why that this lovable rogue is there, because he could be like charming but also a bad guy.
Yeah.
Right. So he's like more neutral. 'Cause I like the idea that like all villainy doesn't need everyone to be super evil, but just like he could be a villain because of convenience.
Yeah, like I'll dunk on the guy, but he's still the guy in charge, so I'm not gonna not do what he tells me to do.
Yeah. For sure, right? I got Moronic Muscle Man. This fellow is huge, powerful monster of a fighter. His job is to smash anything the villain tells him to smash, and he does that very well. Baps didn't do anything else. He has no time for such brainy stuff. So yeah, I like the idea that he has a big muscle man dude.
Oh yeah, the lovable rogue. Like he's not great at the straight up fighting, but he has this big muscle guy around to actually do the smashing part.
Yeah, right. Like one guy is to like maybe the lovable rogue is like the one who organized like the actual stealing, the kidnapping, right?
Oh yeah, like he got to be the smart one.
Yeah, he's the clever one, and the muscle man is the muscle man.
Yes. Like that's why he gets kept around, even though he occasionally annoys Lord Crimes, because he's smart enough to come up with a plan to kidnap this powerful NPC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Being Lord Crimes, he might have like a whole squad of people, so.
Yeah, I was like, we should squad him up. I like the idea, because we just talked about how, or like maybe it's like Princess Crimes, because like, you gotta squad up, right?
I will avenge my father, Lord Crimes.
Lord Crimes, yeah. Maybe that's what it is. That's why he said they're an Avenger. Because they got defeated. They got Lord Crimes. Lord Crimes was defeated, right? And then Princess Crimes like, fuck this. I'm gonna squat up and and bring down that goddamn mountain and burn that goddamn kingdom.
Oh my god. Okay, corrupted by her father, Lord Crimes.
I feel like Princess Crimes was also a baddie when she woke up, man. Like she's just like, yeah, man, I'm bad from when I was born. Her dad was Lord Crime, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, not corrupted so much as made worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so Princess Crimes. So in her squad, she has the lovable rogue, she has the big muscle guy, and then there's a second section for minor villain. So what I have is the misguided moralist, who's been someone who's been convinced that helping the villain achieve their plan is a way to improve the world. Which still feels a bit closer to, I don't know. Well, I mean, misguided moralist is a pretty straightforward thing. Like, they can maybe be turned, or is still going to be a villain, but they believe what they're doing is the right thing to do.
Well, so in the context of, winning the war, right? Like, war is pretty bad on both sides. So maybe this person, this conflict could have been brewing for a while, right? Seeing how, Lord Crimes got iced, and I guess the place is kind of in a stalemate, but not declared like peaceful yet, right? So that might be just like, this other villain is like maybe Lord Crimes's right hand, like I forget what it's called. It's like not like maybe like the Knight's Guard or something like that. It's like from Game of Thrones, where like the dude was, his job was to protect the king,
right,
and then he didn't do it. So now he feels like honor bound to do it.
Oh.
You could always play out shit like that, where it's like, this dude is honor bound to do it.
Okay. What if this person is part of the species, like the orcs or goblins, that's being, like, largely oppressed at this point? Because I feel like Princess Crimes would be taking that out on their people.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe, like, maybe Princess Crimes kind of blames the half-orcs or whatever, and they're getting, like, stomped on at the same time as, like, being, pushed to just into suppression, because she blames the Lord Crimes' death on her, but then like this dude is also like the right hand, but she keeps him around, but also he's like, I have to protect the king, I can't do wrong again.
Yeah.
Or maybe like even the half orc is like, nah man, I got a lot of friends, or my dad died in the war, like you guys are the bad guys, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they believe the other side is worse than whatever Princess Crimes is doing. But Princess Crimes is like, I can't get rid of this person because they're a key part of, like, the royalty here. But I can definitely just smack around this village they come from.
Yeah, true. Maybe he doesn't even know.
And
there could be, maybe this misguided person actually knows somebody in the resistance, and they can just like, that'd be such a sick scene where like
the leader is their
NPCs
sibling.
meet. Yeah. The leaders are sibling, and they thought they were killed by the other side.
But they were like nursed back to health by someone over there, and then when they made it back home, they're like, "Look, we can settle this war. We can make peace between our two peoples. We just got to take out the Crimes family."
Yeah, they're the bad guys. And like maybe the villain does, the good guy, the misguided guy doesn't even know that, like, Princess Crimes has the ability to control her people through magical means, right? Like he doesn't even know that's even like a thing. Maybe that's like a secret crimes only for crimes only eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because he wouldn't have gone back home. He just he got their king killed. He's gonna be embarrassed to like show his face there, so he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like maybe he's just preoccupied in the castle, and there's no time to. Even like he doesn't even want to, because his brother or his sibling got killed, so he just feels like he lost his past, and he's like, he has his reservations of even dealing with those people anymore, right?
Yes. Perfect.
Maybe the resistance knows how to get into the castle because they also were a part of the King's Guard.
Oh, like the two of them together? Oh, like the two siblings together, and then the one that they thought was killed is like, okay, here's how the castle works. Here's this door that leads to the catacombs.
Yeah, because he knows, right?
Yeah. He just knows he can't also like fight the entire villain squad and the villain on his own. Yeah,
because the man's crew is stacked, so he needs some stacked people as well.
Yes. I'm really okay. What did you have for Minor Villain 2 on your page?
Oh, well, I had the hard-eyed advisor. The sort of villain who the heroes see in the master villain's room. He's hard-eyed and scary. Life means nothing to him, and he enjoys killing. He's also good at advisory. He's also a good advisor to his master. So yeah, I mean, I do like the hard-eyed advisor as well. The right-hand man to the villain, I would think.
Yeah, someone who's just straight up evil, but
Yeah,
it's
I mean-
comfortable with being like, no, you can be the leader. I just want to do terrible things.
Yeah, it's like, you know, and maybe like the hard-eyed advisor is totally like, there's like crimes has like the crimes powers to make people do evil, but like hard-eyed advisors got the plans to do evil, you know what I mean? like they're like, yes, this like whatever the situation is for the people and doing this war, like hard-eyed advisors like all in, and he doesn't care what it takes to get the people on their side. Like he'll like maybe get the hard-eyed advisors also like, you know, a part of like the their kill squad or something.
Oh yeah.
He's the one who like sends the people out. So it's like, you know, living in a society that's like ruled by like a crazy person is kind of hard, and it's hard to keep people in line with that kind of nonsense. So it's like this is how it's because the hard-eyed advisor just keeps like, you know, any sort of resistance, he just like, nope, straight to jail. Like straight
Exactly.
to jail. Yeah.
Okay. So the next one, I think this might be who the NPC that gets taken actually is, because it's an ally/neutral character. So what I have is an inquisitive chronicler, a historian who wishes to accompany the heroes to record their exploits, although I don't know if that would work in our situation. They might try to pry into the heroes' backgrounds, asking questions that are none of their business as the adventure continues. So this is a more present character, but we can maybe modify it to fit our thing. What did you have?
I had a grumpy old professional. Again, the heroes need an expert in a certain field. This time a craft or art such as blacksmithing, engineering, horse training, whatever. The only best professional they can find is an aged expert. He's grumpy, cranky, sharp tongue. He's constantly complaining about the food, the weather, his companions. They declined the decline in skill of his coworkers since he was a young man, and the royal condition, like a whole bunch of stuff. He's just like upset all the time.
I kind of like the grumpy ally as like the leader of the resistance. I don't know if that works, but
I mean, the grumpy ally could be someone in like the B plot. The A plot is getting the thing, B plot is getting into the city, so that's already covered with the thing, and then the C plot is getting across the mountain.
Yeah. Oh, so like it's someone who knows how to explore their way across the mountain, but they're just
Or,
like,
like,
getting too old for this.
Yeah, I'm getting too old for this. That could be a thing where he's just like, oh man, this sucks. Once again, I gotta go in there. Maybe he's like a veteran or something who's just like, I thought, you know, I didn't want to go back into that place or cross the mountain. Then he just goes.
Yeah, like only one person's been able to do it this specific way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got that down. All right, we got like a whole bunch of encounter things here. Do we want to just like run through them quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so potential monster encounter. I have Noble Beast here, a creature that they have to capture but not injure. Something magical like a Noble Pegasus.
Huh. I don't know how to fit that in.
What do you have a monster? What do you have for monster encounter?
I have Nocturnal Predator, a classic monster encounter. Hungry carnivores in the middle of the night usually attacks out when the heroes are camping between villages or out in the deep wilderness. While the animal attracted by food or odors, campfires from the heroes. I think that's really cool. I like the idea of a nocturnal predator like on the way, like you know, since we're going through like dangerous territory. Maybe there's like a legendary beast or something, or like something that to look out for, that the old grumpy man, he's like, listen guys, like
look, you just toss him a treat and roll him over, you'll be fine. Just don't get shredded by his claws.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Character encounter. I have a blackmailer. Someone who I guess is trying to blackmail the party. Like, if the party is trying to pull a scam, they might know about it. If they're wanted by the authorities, they might be able to alert the authorities. Or if they're just hiding out from the villain, this person can, like, try to sell them out to the villain. Like, they just want to get something. They want to blackmail the party, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, like, maybe it could be, well, I mean, the ABC plot could also be lots of trajectories too, right? So I got the truthful accuser. So it's like this encounter is like the lying accuser, except the accuser is telling the truth, digging through their character's past, uncovering misdeeds. When the heroes are at a critical point in their adventure, confront them with someone they actually have wronged. This person found them and appeared sympathetic. An appeal to sympathetic local authorities the heroes will have to make good, or have the authorities on their back for some time to come. Maybe. I think the truthful accuser doesn't really work very well, but I like the idea of, like, the players getting found out that they've, infiltrated the bad guy nation. So, and then there's somebody who's just trying to, like, make a profit off of them, like, oh, these trespassers, these people here, I can, get something out of it for myself, kind of deal. Like, he doesn't like the authorities, but he'll use the authorities to do his, get something out of it.
Yeah, to get rich quick or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Death trap. I have a tomb death trap. It's a trap that's triggered and it's left behind in, like, tombs, ruins, or catacombs. Taking a wrong step on, like, a floor tile or a wall brick or a torch bracket or something generic within this tomb area that can trigger a trap designed to kill tomb robbers and intruders. I think that could be in the catacombs. That could be why they need help getting through.
Yeah, that would be good. I have a death trap where, like, basically it's like, the laser beam strapped to a chair where the villains place the heroes, and they're like, it's like a burning fuse. They have to figure out how to get out. So I like the idea of maybe if they got caught, they could be put in a death trap because, our advisor, like, has, like, a sadistic side. He's like, ha ha ha.
Want to see what I've been building?
Yeah. The newest and latest in crime committing. You know what I mean? Like, so, I like that idea. If the players do get captured, they just get put into a death trap, and it's like, a drowning machine or something, or like a laser beam slowly, or like a slowly falling pendulum swinging axe, like, against all of them. Like,
yeah, like that could be like an optional encounter that you create in the campaign that, like, if this happens, then you can use this, and if you don't use it, you can save it for somewhere later.
Yeah, wow, there's like a whole bunch of them. There's a chase.
Yeah, so what do you have for chase?
I have special terrain. Makes the chase more memorable. It takes place in a setting utterly unsuited. For instance, horse chases are fine and dramatic when they take place in the forest, but out in the open plains or on a long road. But they become diabolical when they take place inside of the royal palace or dangerous labyrinth or treacherous catacombs.
Ooh. Okay, I also got special terrain. What about, I'm kind of trying to picture, like, I don't know if they would be horses, but something pulling, like, a cart or something through these catacombs, and they're trying to evade some other dangerous creature and avoid these death traps, but they gotta move quickly.
I mean, yeah, or it could just be like, it could just be like the resistance needs to get out of here, so they're being chased.
Oh yeah, because the whole place is gonna get blown up by a volcano.
That could be a chase scene, or it could be like the bad guys found them out right before they were gonna do their plot. Then it's like, oh, then there's a cool chase between the catacombs so they can, like, get into the city before, like, they're found out. So it becomes like, go defeat the king before, like, the king is notified, or, like, they got found out, so then they're gonna go warn the people, like, warn the bad guys, and you have to chase this person down.
Yeah, and you got to do it through just some labyrinthine area. Okay, so I'll just put, like, catacomb chase in the notes. An omen / prophecy. I think we kind of already had one. But what I have is innocent fulfills prophecy.
I also got that.
An innocent fulfills a prophecy which could endanger their life. This innocent might be the one who's supposed to slay the king, but it's not a mighty adventurer yet, or anything like that. That's basically what we were talking about.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Innocent fulfills prophecy. I think that's exactly what this adventure is. Secret weakness. The villain might have a secret weakness. I have holy symbol. So they're weak to a specific holy symbol, whether it's from some church or from some ancient, forgotten variation of a symbol.
I got love. Secret weakness is love. Maybe she's like in love with one of the people. Oh, maybe Princess is in love with like the misguided one.
Oh, that's why she can't kill him?
Yeah, that's why she can't kill him. That would be cool.
That could be an interesting thing to deal with. Special condition. I have coping with a curse. Something that can be affecting the heroes, draining out their life force, or causing them to just, something detrimental to them in some way that gets worse each day.
Yeah, I got time limit. So where it's like the villain's gonna conclude like an evil spell in only 3 days or something like that, and instead of is like and it's like 3 hard days.
Oh, definitely time limit.
Yeah, I think the time limit's the key.
Yeah, not 3 days. I think that's too short for something that's literally travel across the land, searching far and wide. But definitely time limit.
Yeah, for sure. Like, before he's got his army like together or something like that. Like they need to get that shit done, because that's the reason why he hasn't blown up the mountain yet, is because he needs to get his troops in order, or she needs to get her troops in order.
Yeah.
To go do that.
Moral quandary. Okay, so I have honor quandary for this. So a character that might have a strong sense of honor towards the end may have to do something that violates that code of honor. This is a very party-specific thing. I don't know if that'll work here. Do you have something for that?
I got ally quandary. Like, you set up a situation so the heroes have a good chance of defeating the master villain if they get the aid of 2 specific individuals, probably experts in their field relating to the villain's activities, but the 2 experts hate one another and refuse to work together, even if it costs them their world. So, I mean, it could just be like if they were able to somehow convince the bad guy squad to like turn against, Princess Crimes. That would be something crazy, because like maybe like if the Princess's Crimes weakness is love, and the love of the misguided knight, then if you can get the misguided knight to like join your side, right, or whatever, or the King's Guard, then like maybe that could be the way to stop her, because she's like, no, I can't kill the only person I love in this world.
Her weakness, yeah, because the ally, well, quote unquote ally, could be that misguided guy and his brother leading the resistance. Those are the 2 allies that have like conflicting ideas about what to do.
Yeah, that's true. You could have one where it's like burn it all down, a la Star Wars. The other one's like, no, what do you mean? I'm the blue one. Like,
we can still save her.
Yeah, we can still save her. You know what I mean?
A red herring, a lying rumor, a interesting rumor that just happens to be false. Something that involves the master villain and gives the hero some important information, which later turns out to be useless.
Let's see here. When given, so I got extraneous details. When given the heroes details on their enemy, for instance, the details they are learning from investigations or reading, you can give them just a few details, not too many. This may prompt the heroes to investigate the extra irrelevant details in addition to the relevant ones, thus losing more valuable time. I don't think that really works.
These feel more like investigation kind of things. I mean, we're not really investigating anything.
That's true. I'll do like the lying rumor. So lying rumor is just like you straight up just give them false information.
Yeah.
And that could be like, a minor villain's role. Maybe that person who's accusing them or whatever found them out can like be like, okay, I'll that could be like a lying rumor, or like I'll help you out. I'm a part of the resistance, where they're not actually the real resistance.
Oh, that could be what the lovable rogue is up to. Like they pretend to be organizing, like they have some way that seems like they're organizing a resistance, that they're looking for people, and then people get there and it's like they're just trapped in a room with a big muscle guy.
Yeah. That sounds pretty good.
Okay, and lastly, a cruel trick. something to throw a little twist into your campaign. I have the heroes must work with the villain. If you have to work with them, it's usually due to something that either the villain has some power over them, or I guess just that they have to work with the villain to overcome some other danger or something like that. It's mostly focused on like being forced to work for the villain, but I think it could be either way. There's something that causes them to have to work together.
I got the mission as a ruse. Like in the course of the adventuring, the heroes discover they've been tricked into performing a mission, which helps out the master villain. I don't think that's that good, unless like it was really just the heroes they needed, not the princess.
Oh, that could be a thing.
Yeah,
that's very party dependent, though. I was kind of thinking, if you get the secret good ending where you're able to save Princess Crimes from her own machinations, you might have to work with her to prevent the whole like castle and surrounding area from being blown up by a volcano.
Yeah, maybe.
And if that doesn't work, then you just have to escape.
Yeah, okay, that'll work. I can't think of anything else.
But that again is very dependent on how the story.
Oh.
Yep.
I have the heroes must work with the villain. For once the volcano blows up, and they're like, "Oh God, we have to stop all of it."
Yeah.
From happening.
And that's only dependent on if you actually get to the point where you're actually able to get Princess Crimes to like not use the NPC to flatten this mountain. The NPC who we didn't really figure out, by the way. I thought we would, but
I mean, they're like, they can have a personality, but like, they're mostly a damsel in distress, right?
They're a plot device.
Like,
well, you know what?
Right.
That could be what what our audience could maybe figure out.
Yeah, who is this NPC that we're trying to get? Who is the MacGuffin? Give them a personality.
Princess MacGuffin.
Or it could be Prince MacGuffin. Who knows?
Ooh. Oh yeah. Okay, well, we went through this whole thing. We've got actually a really interesting adventure here. I think it'd be really fun. If you out there want to try this for yourself, there will be a link below to the Danzon page where this generator is. It gets very detailed, and it's based on like, again, another published Dungeon Master's design kit. Though I don't really know where you would find that at this point. Maybe Drive-Thru RPG or something, or DM's Guild or something.
Yeah,
or
maybe
Amazon.
they got a couple scans of it somewhere.
Yeah,
like online.
It's probably online somewhere. But yeah, this was fun. I kind of like doing these. Maybe we should do another one of these for with a different generator or in a different game. We'll think about it.
Yeah, okay, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, it definitely is fun to kind of workshop a little adventure. I'm surprised at what we came up with because of the nuances. Because it's hard to me. It's like go to a place, go into the dungeon, beat up the bad guy. Oh, it's a dragon. You know what I mean? Like it's very easy to fall into like kind of those kind of tropes. But I kind of like the idea we got a little spice in here with this whole political drama unfolding.
Yeah, I like also the crew of mini villains, the minor villains that we have. I think those could be really interesting characters.
Definitely love a squad of baddies with all different personalities, like the muscle guy and the guy who's good at talking, and the bad guy, the really bad guy.
Exactly.
And Murder Man, not just Princess Crimes. There's a revisor, Murder Man. Like that's.
This is my advisor, John Murderman.
John Murderman.
Okay, well,
that's me, John Murderman. I sure love killing.
But again, yeah, like these generators really do give you some great ideas that you could put through, and just you could really make something trying to figure out how to get all these elements to work together, which is what I really like about them. And again, running a game isn't as difficult as you might think at first glance. This was certainly, it took time, but it wasn't hard.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So again, if you want to try it out, there's a link below to it. Speaking of the links below, there's also links to a whole bunch of Lancer stuff from all the people we've talked to. there's links to the Untold Stories project, where I'm at every week playing in a couple of different games. They've got something coming up for Mondays, now that the Starhaven series is over, and I'm very sad about that. But we've got some short stuff for the rest of the year, and then next year, we'll be back with a season 2 of the Freedom League Dark, or whatever it ends up being called. The first characters we were playing through the whole Nether War series. As well on Tuesdays, there is the Gem Stars, which I'm very excited to get back into, because I finished watching Sailor Moon, and I've started watching the last couple seasons of Legend of Korra that I didn't see. And JoJo Stone Ocean's going to be back in a bit, so I'm going to be at maximum everything that goes into my character.
Nice.
all those knobs are going to be at 11. So
Final form, Calvin, ready for it, man.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I really enjoy everyone's characters and all the interactions we've been working on and how everyone's coming together and forming their relationships. So I really love that game. Otherwise, we also have gaming streams here. Thursdays is Batman, Fridays is Skyrim, Sundays Mass Effect is back. So if you want to see me flail through Mass Effect, please come check that out. But I think that's everything we have to cover this week.
Sounds good. Calvin, give him the outro.
All right. Well, for all of our crime-doing GMs and players out there, just remember to keep on winning with dice, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.